Good evening, everyone. So I'm going to pitch it tonight. So if you're in the back class today, we're going to talk about something from Genesis. That's all right, real quick. So in the back class, we're doing an Old Testament survey this quarter. And tonight, we were talking about part 2 of Genesis. And so really what we did was we broke up the book of Genesis into 2 parts. Chapters 1 through 11 focuses on 4 big events: creation, the fall of man, the flood, and the dispersion post-flood. The second half of Genesis really focuses on 4 big characters, if you will: Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph specifically. I think it's fascinating, interesting, and discouraging to a certain degree to see that since the fall of man, since sin entered the world, the degradation, the violence, the evil, the sin, if you will, kept getting worse and worse as we got further away from Adam. So much so that God decided that he's going to start over, and the lineage of man is going to go through one man, now Noah, and his family. But that was not the family we read about in the entire second half of the book of Genesis. The entire second half focuses on Abraham and his family. So mankind had tried to build a great name up for themselves at the Tower of Babel, right? But God says, no, that is not my plan. I'm going to pick one man, a simple man, and I'm going to give him a great name, make his name great, and through him, all families of the earth will be blessed. So we talked about that tonight in kind of the progression of Abraham, his family. There was many, I'll call it failures, opportunities that Abraham, Isaac, Jacob and Joseph experienced, Joseph and his brothers, I should say. But there's some really good blessings and some successes that in spite of their shortcomings, God used them for his specific purpose in a broader way. So much so that we get to the end of Genesis. I'm looking at chapter 50 specifically. And you guys know the scene. It's very familiar. I won't repeat it completely, but the people, the sons of Israel, are in Egypt. And the brothers are concerned. When our father dies, now Joseph is going to extract his revenge. We're familiar, right? This is a familiar passage. They're very, very concerned that at this point, when our father is dead, there's no reason Joseph is not going to give us what we deserve. However, we read in Genesis 50, verse 19. But Joseph said to them, talking to his brothers, he says, "Do not be afraid, for am I in God's place? As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good in order to bring about this present result to preserve many people alive. So therefore, do not be afraid. I will provide for you and your little ones." So he comforted them and spoke kindly to them. Obviously, this is talking about Joseph in that specific family, familial relationship. I would suggest, and I did to the class in the back this evening, I would suggest there's probably a broader meaning here. I think these words may be even strategically placed in the book, that really summarizes maybe the rest of the biblical story. All the way back from Genesis chapter 3, the fall of mankind. God made perfect creation, a sinless world. He puts man in his creation to keep it, and man sins and rebels, and the world quite seemingly and literally falls apart. I wonder if this also is meant to forward look, that in spite of all these people that had their own set of circumstances, failures, opportunities, mess-ups, mistakes, God used them for a broader purpose. And we clearly see that in Hebrews chapter 11. And so the invitation tonight is God working through you, sinful creatures, people that make mistakes, people that make mess-ups? Is God working through you? Is God working through me to accomplish a greater purpose? Are we sharing the gospel? Are we salt and light to a community, to a neighborhood, to our friends and family, co-workers, individuals, to everyone? Are we salt and light to a people that desperately need God? I would argue if we're not, we really ought to be That's what our expectations is. That's what God's expectation is. And so the invitation tonight is if we can help you be that, if you're not being salt and light, if we can help you, every provision is available. If we can pray for you, if we can do whatever we can to help you get right with God tonight, let's do that together as we stand, as we sing.